In the early years when I was dean, I thought of Steve Jacobsen as the Leonardo da Vinci of the College of Engineering. Anytime I talked to him, he had new ideas, whether he was working on a wearable kidney or a snake with all sorts of embedded cameras.
One day he said, I have to focus on something. And he said, I'm not going to be the best machinist in the world unless that's what I do, and I'm not going to be the best person at electronics unless that's all I do. And he said, what is it I really like? And he says, I like coming up with new ideas and designing them. And that is what he did every day of his life.
He always wanted to create things. He was not a theorist. He was a practical person. And that's something key with Steve since the first day I met him is he just wanted to build it to see what it would do, and then that would tell him what the next step was.
You didn't have to spend more than a few minutes with Steve to figure out that he was a real genius. He was always excited about something. You could just count on Steve adding interest to whatever conversation you were about to have with him, because there was always a new project, the next wonderful thing he was going to be working on.
So Steve has a big history that spans medical, spans military, spans entertainment.
In fact, that is his resume. And inside there, if you see the departments that he worked in at the University of Utah, it's not just one department, it's a whole list of departments. He never put a boundary, I'm just a mechanical engineer. To him, it was all fair game.
He started out with artificial organs, artificial arms, drug delivery devices, moved into robotics based off of the ARM effort, went into entertainment robots for Disney, Bally's, casinos, Universal Studios, Jurassic Park dinosaurs. We did Bellagio robotic fountains, still considered some of the best fountains in the world.
He was always an inventor. 200 plus patents. That was amazing.
He actually started a number of companies, and of course Sarcos was the main one that went along for several decades. And from there was a whole plethora of companies: Precision Vascular, Microject, Animated Systems, IOMed. I can't think of them all off the top of my head right now, there's so many of them. So I would describe Steve as a very intelligent person who really understood everything going on around him, and he literally cared about everything.
He always wanted to make it better. He saw everything. He would see politics, he wanted to make it better. He would see mechanisms, he wanted to make it better.
I think his legacy is, first of all, his students. He worked with many people, many creative individuals who went on to do great things.
I think out of all the things he did, I mean, he did great things. I mean, the wearable artificial kidney, that's a great thing. The robots he did, he furthered robotic technology greatly. And so all those things are great, but to me, the biggest thing he instilled is what he trained a very large group of people who are now training other people is think outside the box. Understand what's really going on. Don't put boundaries around you on what you can learn and what you can do.
It's completely appropriate that we are naming this tower after Steve Jacobsen.
I think what comes with this pavilion is somewhere where people can get together, they can collaborate on design, they can test some of their ideas, iterate on them, and this really gives them a place outside of the classroom where they can exercise those kinds of things. I think it builds the Steve kind of people.
What I hope happens is that more than the dedication is people realize what Steve stood for, that you needed to work hard, you needed to not let bureaucracy momentum take over the design. And so I'm glad to see that his name is going to be on the tower there, and I hope that the students recognize what that really is going to stand for, not just a building, but this was a person who had a way of seeing the world that would greatly enhance their life if they were to learn about it.